All right, let's jump right into an absolutely epic explainer today. We're going to look at a story that spans literal ages. It bridges entirely different epics of time to prove a singular, really beautiful point that true, sincere devotion transcends not just years, but entire lifetimes. If you've ever felt like your hopes, your goals, or your prayers are just taking way too long to manifest, well, the source text we're unpacking today is going to completely reframe how you look at time.
To kick things off, I want you to consider this profound question. It sounds almost impossible, right? Can a prayer really be so powerful that it survives the end of an era, the physical death of a body, and the rebirth of a soul? Because the narrative we're diving into is going to challenge basically everything you think you know about patience and divine promises. We're dealing with literal cosmic scales of time here, and a promise that simply refused to be forgotten.
So, Part 1, A Light in Dark Lanka, the setup in Ashoka Vatika. We're traveling way back to the ancient kingdom of Lanka during what's known as the Trijata Yuga. Mother Sita is being held captive by Ravana in the dark, oppressive Ashoka Vatika, and it is a bleak, terrifying place to be. While cruel demonesses were assigned to guard and just constantly torment Mother Sita, there was this one stark exception, Trijata. Now, she was a demoness by birth, but entirely different in spirit. She was kind-hearted, deeply compassionate, and completely devoted to righteousness. While everyone else around her sought to instill fear, Trijata actively served Mother Sita with respect, comforting her during her absolutely darkest days. I mean, she somehow maintained this pure compassion in a world entirely populated by demons. Moving to Part 2, The Silent Eternal Prayer, a fateful encounter with Lord Rama.
That kindness Trijata showed was actually setting the stage for a totally life-altering meeting. Everything changes when Lord Rama finally arrives in Lanka on his great mission to rescue Mother Sita. When Trijata beholds his divine form, her heart instantly overflows with devotion. We're not talking about a gradual realization here. It was an immediate, overwhelming connection. In an incredibly slow and reverent moment, she folds her hands and makes this silent, very specific plea. "O Lord, I know I was born in a family of demons, but I have only one wish. In some future birth, may I have the blessing of receiving you as my son." Just think about the sheer weight of that for a second. She acknowledges her current physical reality, being born of demons, but asks for the ultimate grace in a future life, to be a mother to the divine. And Lord Rama, seeing her pure heart, looks upon her with deep compassion and silently accepts this prayer.
But then, reality hits, and the story seems to just hit a total dead end. The Great War takes place, destroying Ravana and his entire army. Mother Sita is beautifully reunited with Lord Rama, peace finally returns to the kingdom, and the story of the Ramayana essentially resolves. And in time, Trijata's mortal life comes to an end. She actually dies. So we're left with this massive open loop. She made a profound request, the Lord accepted it, but her life is over. How on earth is his promise going to be kept now that she's literally gone?
Which brings us to Part 3, Rebirth and the Great Wait, the Passage of Cosmic Time.
Have you ever felt like you're waiting endlessly for a prayer to be answered or a big goal to be realized? You wait days, maybe months, maybe years. Well, Trijata's wait puts human patience into serious perspective. By the will of the Lord, she is reborn, but not as a human and not as a deity. She's reborn as a great tree in a distant forest. And for an entire epoch, the Trijata Yuga ends and the Dwapara Yuga begins, whole ages pass. She's waiting completely unknowingly, rooted in the earth as a literal tree while the cosmos shifts around her. Finally, in the Dwapara Yuga, Lord Rama incarnates once again, this time as Lord Krishna. The pieces are finally moving into place.
Part 4, The Miracle in the Fire, Young Krishna in Danger. So, we find a young Lord Krishna wandering far from home during his childhood, traveling through fields and eventually entering a really dense woodland. But before we see what happens next, hold this question in your mind. How could a tree fulfill a divine promise? Remember Trijata's specific prayer. She wanted to receive the Lord as her son. She wanted to be a mother to him. As danger approaches the young Krishna, we really have to ask how a wooden, unmoving tree could possibly act as a protecting mother to the divine. The mechanics of this promise just seem impossible, right?
Suddenly, the tranquil forest goes completely sideways. A terrible forest fire breaks out. The flames are spreading rapidly, roaring through the woods, and this thick, choking smoke completely fills the sky. Young Krishna is caught right in the middle of this inferno.
Seeking immediate shelter from the roaring flames, he rushes into the dark, hollow trunk of a large nearby tree. What he doesn't know, or perhaps what divine design has perfectly orchestrated from the start, is that this very tree is Trijata, who has been waiting through the ages. Enclosed inside this dark, hollow trunk, while the fire absolutely rages outside, young Krishna remembers the wisdom of his mother. This is the crucial turning point. In this terrifying, claustrophobic darkness, he actually smiles as he remembers these very specific words. Whenever you find yourself in darkness, chant the name of God. So smiling amidst the danger, Krishna begins chanting the holy name.
What follows is this amazing, magical sequence of cause and effect. First, Krishna chants the holy name. Second, because he's inside the hollow trunk, that divine sound echoes and deeply resonates within the very core of the tree. Third, fueled by this vibration, the tree begins to glow with an otherworldly celestial light. And finally, the miracle happens. The tree slowly transforms into a living being. Trijata is awakened from her ages-long slumber as a tree. The vibration of the Lord's name literally brought her true form back to life.
Part 5. Fulfillment and Divine Grace, a Desperate Leap of Faith. Trijata wakes up to find the forest completely consumed by fire. Frightened, she runs for her life to escape the flames. But as she's running, she feels this undeniable, sacred presence residing inside her very being. And the tension absolutely peaks right here. Disoriented and fleeing the smoke, she reaches the edge of a mountain, and her footing slips. Suddenly, she's plummeting into a deep, jagged, rocky valley below. I mean, she waded through epochs of cosmic time, got transformed back into a living being, only to find herself falling toward what seems like certain, immediate doom. But mid-air, literally while falling to her death, she doesn't panic. Instead, she folds her hands in the ultimate act of surrender and cries out this desperate plea. "O Lord, are you within me? If you truly are, please reveal yourself and grant me your darshan." She feels that sacred presence from when Krishna was in her trunk, and she essentially bets her entire existence on it in this final, terrifying moment. And the universe answers, instantly. The moment her prayer is complete, the heavens fill with brilliant light. Lord Vishnu's Sudarshana chakra appears out of nowhere and gently supports her mid-fall, completely preventing her from crashing onto the rocks. And then, the ultimate reward. Lord Krishna manifests right before her very eyes in his full divine form. This moment is the ultimate receipt for her ancient prayer. Krishna smiles lovingly and says, "Trijata, in the age of Rama, you desired to receive me as your son. I heard your prayer and never forgot it. Today, your wish has been fulfilled. You carried me within you, protected me, and experienced the love of a mother. Your devotion has borne fruit." Just think about how flawlessly that worked out. By acting as the hollow tree, enclosing him, holding him in darkness, and protecting him from the deadly fire, she essentially acted as a womb. She provided the exact motherly protection and love she asked to give ages and ages ago. Krishna then blesses her, telling her that her longing has finally ended. Tears of overwhelming joy flow from Trijata's eyes, and she bows in deep reverence at the Lord's feet. Instantly, a divine radiance surrounds her, freeing her soul permanently from all worldly bonds, and she merges into the presence of the Lord. As the forest fire subsides and peace returns, Trijata attains ultimate eternal liberation. Her incredibly long journey is finally over. This brings us to the absolute core takeaway from all our source material today: divine timing. It's the principle that God never, ever forgets a sincere prayer. True devotion is always rewarded, and divine grace arrives at the exact perfect moment, completely regardless of the time that has passed. For Trijata, it literally took the changing of cosmic ages, from the Treta Yuga to the Dwapara Yuga, dying, becoming a tree, and waiting in eternity. But the promise was kept perfectly. I want to leave you with this final thought to carry with you today. God never forgets a sincere prayer, no matter how much time passes. So, looking at Trijata's absolutely unimaginable patience, what are you patiently waiting for? Her story is a beautiful reminder that when it feels like absolutely nothing is happening, cosmic forces might be aligning perfectly in the background. The most beautiful answers sometimes just take a little time to bloom. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep that patience alive.